Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Audrey Russo, President and CEO of the Pittsburgh Technology Council, and I am thrilled to be here with all of you to celebrate an outstanding group of women who are doing incredible things in Pittsburgh. Women who demonstrate excellence in their profession, contribute to their community, and help other women and girls to succeed through mentorship. As some of you know, this is the first time that the Pittsburgh Technology Council is hosting this prestigious award program. Now, granted, it's not what we expected for our first ATHENA Awards, and I wish we could all be together to celebrate in person, but we have been working hard along with the incredible ATHENA Host Committee to bring you an excellent and authentic program for 2020. I also want you to say thank you to Janelle Skelly and the Allegheny Conference for the years of your leadership and for your help in transitioning the program to its new home at the Tech Council. So while we're giving thanks, I'd like to call attention to our generous event sponsors. Presenting sponsor is UPMC, diamond sponsor is Citizens Bank, gold sponsors is BNY Mellon, KPMG, PNC, Williams, silver sponsor Accenture, Comcast Business, Fort Pitt Capital, Herbine and Company, the Pittsburgh Penguins, YWCA of Greater Pittsburgh. Bronze sponsors, Citrone 33 Foundation, Meyer Unkovic and Scott, LP. And our media sponsor is WTAE TV of Pittsburgh. And finally, production partner and longtime partners of ours and photo booth sponsor is Skinny Time Media. So don't forget to visit our virtual photo booth. Using the link on the screen, and it'll be embedded in the chat, we want to see how you're celebrating this afternoon. But again, to all our sponsors, we are beyond grateful for your continued support of the Tech Council and the ATHENA Awards program of Greater Pittsburgh. We are thrilled to be affiliated with ATHENA International and to have the ability to work with such dedicated ATHENA Host Committee members who truly believe in the work that we're doing. You can see on the list of the host committee members right now, as well as our email address that we'll add to the chat session, if you want to get to know someone on the committee or just want to get involved for the 2021 program. Just send us a note and we'd love to hear from you and get you engaged. So what we do at the Tech Council and what the ATHENA Host Committee has been working towards for years is promoting women by taking care of women. It's a simple concept. What we're sharing with you now and in the chat, and we'll see throughout the show, is a direct request from us to help us to continue to celebrate strong women who work to help others succeed and mentor those around them. Please consider donating to our nonprofit, 40 by 80, so that we can grant scholarships through Red Chair Pittsburgh to attend women's programs in Southwestern Pennsylvania. You'll hear more about Red Chair Pittsburgh later and the women's programs in just a bit. So finally, before we really get things kicked off and the celebration going, I wanted to let you know that we're keeping this Zoom call open after the program ends for some networking. If you're able to stick around, we'd love to share the energy of our finalists and the to-be-announced award recipients. We will send you some breakout rooms at the end so you can have a chance to chat, reunite, meet some people, and keep the wonderful spirit of ATHENA going. That's all I have for now. Enjoy the event.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Janelle Hall of WTAE TV Pittsburgh's Action News 4, a proud sponsor of the ATHENA Awards program of Greater Pittsburgh. I'm thrilled to be with you today as your MC. Thank you, Audrey, and thank you to the Pittsburgh Technology Council for allowing us to continue to honor the awe-inspiring women who work to encourage and mentor other strong women and girls in our community. This afternoon, as we share stories from some of these women and recognize their incredible achievements, we hope that you'll feel inspired, excited, and hopefully motivated to do your part to lift and encourage women in your life. As we get underway this afternoon, please welcome our presenting sponsor, UPMC.
Thank you, Janelle. It's an honor to be part of the 2020 ATHENA Awards program of Greater Pittsburgh. UPMC Health Plan is proud to be the lead sponsor of this event, which recognizes the accomplishments of the finalists for both the ATHENA Award and the ATHENA Young Professional Award and all of the nominees. I wish we were celebrating in person, but I'm happy to have this chance to connect virtually. I'd like to thank the Pittsburgh Technology Council for hosting this event and bringing us all together. We're here to celebrate some incredible women. These 8 women who have been nominated by their peers and colleagues represent the business sector, nonprofits, and public sector. I'd like to congratulate them and all of the nominees for their professional achievements, contributions to our community, and efforts to help other women realize their leadership potential. The spirit of generosity and commitment to other women, while always important, is especially vital now. COVID-19 has had a dramatic impact on everyone, but it's worth noting how women have been impacted. Now more than ever, they are juggling childcare and working. They're also losing their jobs at a disproportionate rate and therefore forced to make difficult choices for their household. If ever there was a time to come together and support the women of our community, it's now. But it's not all bad news. 2020 has been an extraordinary year in other ways. For example, it's heartening to see the widespread demand for female empowerment and inclusion in our broader society. The question remains, how do we channel this enthusiasm and support in meaningful ways? One significant barrier that holds women back is a lack of access to opportunities, networks, and advocates. That's where Athena comes in. The Athena Awards celebrate women who have accomplished outstanding achievements in their field and contributed to their communities. What makes the Athena Awards special is that the honorees also have a track record of helping other women pursue their dreams and achieve their goals. Success rarely happens in a vacuum, and when women succeed, they create a path for others to follow. The 2020 Athena Awards finalists are an inspiring group. They've made a difference in our community, in their profession, and in the lives of other women. If you find yourself longing for a sense of connection and purpose, I encourage you to follow their example and reach out to someone who could use your help.
To continue our women's leadership and advancement efforts and expand Athena International offerings within the Pittsburgh Technology Council's programming, we are pleased to announce that we have integrated Becoming Athena, a leadership curricula aimed at elevating the voice of young women, into our Launch program. Launch, which stands for Learn, Aspire, Understand, Navigate, Connect, and Highlight, transforms the natural curiosity of young women into a voice of leadership in the STEM industry. Stay tuned for more information in the coming months as we begin to seek your help in building a diverse group of mentors and students throughout Southwestern PA. If you have questions or want to get involved in any of our Athena programs, email us at athena@pghtech.org.
We'd like to take a moment now to honor the legacy of someone who was so very important to the success of the Athena Award program of Greater Pittsburgh, Jerry Coswith. Sadly, Jerry passed away last month, leaving us far too soon, but not before creating an indelible impression of a man who dedicated his life to caring for and supporting others.
I look at Jerry as somebody who dedicated really his entire life, profession, and career to giving back to others.
I actually met Jerry through the Athena program. The very first host committee meeting that I went to, Jerry was there. He had been a part of it for years. And I was just blown away by this guy because he was so enthusiastic. He was so energetic. He had so many great ideas.
It was just clear from my first experience with Jerry and that kind of mentoring girls and women and seeing women achieve their fullest potential was really an important aspect of his DNA.
He was a champion for me. He was a champion for other women on the host committee. And he recognized that for our region to be successful, all 100% of our population needed to be engaged, and 50% of that population is women. So it was all knitted together for him. It wasn't just about supporting women, it was about supporting women as a key to enriching our region.
Jerry was just somebody who made it easy to want to be involved with Athena.
He just had this long-term vision constantly. You almost had to rein him in because he would be looking forward to, well, what about 2 years from now? What about 5 years from now? What about 10 years from now? How are we going to make sure Athena is sustainable forever in Pittsburgh?
I think for Jerry, the opportunity to nominate strong women and be part of the community that lifts them up was so meaningful. And he lived that not just in his participation on the Athena host committee, but in his life.
He was there and excited and passionate about seeing women making a difference in their lives, in the workplace, in the community. And that just really came through really everything that he did and how he behaved.
I sometimes, when we would be talking to each other, I would call him Mr. Athena, because he really just embodied the whole spirit. Oh, it's so hard. I think he enjoyed about Athena seeing women get recognized who weren't always recognized. And I think that he really enjoyed that aspect of Athena.
It is beyond an honor to be a finalist for the Athena Award. And honestly, I mean, there are moments I'm still in disbelief about it.
I am still processing what it means to be a finalist for the Young Athena Award.
And when I learned that I was a finalist, I was truly shocked.
I'm really grateful to be nominated because it was surprising to me to be nominated, surprising to be in the top 3.
I am so excited about it. It means a great deal to me. It's like winning the Oscar.
Like I want to pinch myself. Did I really make the top 5 finalists?
I think to be a finalist means to recognize all the other women that have carved the path so that I could be doing the work that I'm doing.
So in our hallways right here, Gwen's Girls in my office, my mother's Athena Award sits in a case. And just being nominated has been heartwarming for me.
I look back to see other awardees and finalists as well, and I know many of the women. And I'm really proud to be a part of this group in terms of being in the finalist category.
It's a moment for me to recognize that work and to just reflect on what it means to be here and to be committed to the city and think about how I can invest in myself and reflect so that I can continue to carve that path forward for other young women.
So my fulfillment has always been about seeing others excited and doors opening that they never thought that can be open.
I'm just grateful that I've had an opportunity to be a part of someone else's life's journey. And if someone thinks that is noteworthy, I'm grateful. But having meaning and having purpose means that I need to give a part of myself in order to support someone else, and I just want to continue to do that.
And when I saw the other women who were also finalists for the Athena Award, I truly was humbled, because those women have achieved such greatness in their careers and things that they have done, and to be on the same platform as those other women is remarkable, and I'm really pretty speechless by it.
It is a powerhouse list of women doing wonderful work and making great strides across our region, and to be among them is truly an honor.
Many people often tell me, your mom would be so proud. I believe if she was here right now, and I know she's looking down and she, knows that I am a finalist, she's very happy.
Pittsburgh has just a tremendous, powerful group of women that live in this city, work in this city, and are trying to make this city a better place. So to be amongst them and be considered, something I'm never going to forget. So thank you.
And as we just heard, it is so exciting to be an Athena finalist, and that's why we're here this afternoon to honor the great work of these inspiring women. So let's get to our first recognition of the afternoon, the 2020 Athena Young Professional Award.
I'm so honored to be here with you virtually today as the 2018 ATHENA Young Professional Award recipient and as a 2020 selection committee member. We had an impressive 23 ATHENA Young Professional nominees this year, which made it genuinely difficult to pare down this list to the following 3 finalists who are, without a doubt, transforming the great city of Pittsburgh.
As we become experts in our own experience, we don't always look at it because we're in the moment, but other people can see that you have something to offer and to give.
Sharnae Hearn-Davis is a beacon of positivity. Often described as the ultimate servant leader, Sharnae saw a gap in our region as it related towards Black women and Black girls, and she stepped in and she filled that space.
Sisters Lifting As We Climb Network was created in 2015. During that time, I was a community affairs liaison under Mayor William Peduto, and I was responsible for doing a lot of the community outreach for the My Brother's Keepers initiative. I love my brothers, but I began to find myself asking, but what about the women and girls?
She saw that there was an opportunity, she saw there was a path, and I don't think she ever expected she would become a leader in that path, but she absolutely has. There are now more than 1,000 women gathered together in the space of community and in the space of support.
This is a ministry that you are responsible for touching people's lives and helping people change their lives based off of how they identify that they want to be supported.
Sharnae is an opportunity strategist.
I will share 2 of the organizations that have helped me on my development to where I am today. One Young World, and then also Be Me.
I can't think of a more important time to have more folks like Sharnae out there.
Duquesne University has been a tremendous part of my personal and professional development. I am currently a doctorate candidate at Duquesne University in our Department of Educational Leadership. Prayerfully, I will become Dr. Sharnae Hearn-Davis by the end of 2021. So I'm saying that on camera now so we can say, let's stamp it to make sure that it's done.
Sharnae has quite literally committed her life's work to the education, social justice, and creating equitable opportunities for all citizens.
This is really the season of reflecting, looking back, owning who God called me to be, and not being afraid to speak power, and not being afraid to call out when you see injustices. So as I give out, and support and encourage and lift other women, it's now how do I own in my experiences to share, to say that I have something to offer.
My mom owns food trucks at the University of Pittsburgh and Carnegie Mellon campus, and she is the epitome of entrepreneurship and grit. And I think that's largely also where I learned my sort of tenacity and passion for entrepreneurship.
I have known Bhavani for about roughly 2 or 3 years now. I was just blown away by how she carries herself. She's very intelligent, she's very passionate, and she really cares about Pittsburgh, minority, and just social justice and equity, and that really moved me.
I think I always had an emotional spot for Pittsburgh, and then when I went to Pitt for 4 years, I just really got exposed to community service. I realized that there weren't a lot of people that looked like me, kind of advocating for immigrant communities, communities of color, or even just working class families. Because I had been involved in the community and I had been kind of networked in, I was actually asked to run for Allegheny County Council when that special election came up. And although I didn't win that race, it was just an incredible experience to get exposed to what the deeper sort of alignments are when it comes to politics in Pittsburgh. And I hope to be able to run in the future again or support other women of color to run.
Seeing her and the work that she's doing is very inspiring, and I'm just so proud that she's able to do that as being a minority, a woman of color.
I'm passionate about mentoring other women in the spaces of entrepreneurship and technology because I've been very lucky to be on the receiving end of that. Beam Data is actually a civic tech startup that came about because I was just really passionate about data representation, thinking about how Asian American Pacific Islanders, Black communities, how they're represented when it comes to data, because so much of that data is actually used to determine resource allocation. But the project that I'm sort of most proud of is the work that we did with ensuring a 2020 census complete count, working with Allegheny County and the city of Pittsburgh, and then also our recent launch of the app Be the Change. The goal of the app basically is very simple. We want to bring people into the conversation when it comes to connecting with their state legislators and put them in an environment where there's actually productive conversation as opposed to a sort of nasty discourse that you often see on social media platforms.
It really is a testament to how she wants to get normal, hardworking citizens get involved and get their voices heard. I think just the passion, the engagement, the hard work that she's doing to pave the ways for women of color, my children, I think it's just great that I'm looking forward to the future for them.
I think I'm passionate about doing the work that I am in Pittsburgh because it really just goes back to what Pittsburgh has offered me. I think that Pittsburgh has made a lot of progress in the past 10 years, and I think that we have a long way to go still, and I want to be a part of that change. And so, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Pittsburgh is the city that I love. It's the city that I grew up in.
I would come down to Penguins games with my dad when I was a kid, hop in the car, I'd do my math homework along the way. And I just, from a young age, I remember like sitting in the stands, reading the game program, like looking at the names of everyone that worked in the front office and thinking like it would be so cool to be one of them someday.
Amanda was a very easy person to nominate to be the Young Athena because I look back on my biggest and most important internship, and she was the biggest hand to guide me. That's a very pivotal part in a young person's life, is that first internship. You're gaining that experience, but not only that, but she lent that hand again to take me into my first full-time job right outside of school.
In sports, it's a male-dominated industry and it can be a little bit intimidating. So I feel like it's my duty almost to encourage the women that are in sports to find their voice early and realize that their voice has power and that they do belong.
Amanda is the epitome of an empowered female. She makes sure that things are done and she holds herself accountable for that.
My main responsibilities at the Pittsburgh Penguins Foundation are overseeing our largest fundraising initiatives. And I'm also responsible for our staff. Other than that, I run our internship program. I manage a lot of the day-to-day operations of the Penguins Foundation and really just anything else that comes up. So what I love most about my job is being able to use the power of the Penguins to do good.
One of the first projects I'll never forget, Amanda had a beanie on her desk and a folder and was like, all right, I want to sell these Love Your Melon beanies and fundraise for something. We raised over $120,000 to rebuild a care mobile for Ronald McDonald House Pittsburgh, which goes around and provides health care for underserved communities. Being able to go from a small beanie on Amanda's desk to a ribbon cutting in front of the arena, you go from point A to point Z on a project. And she, instead of saying, okay, you got me to point M, you can go ahead now. She kept me the entire time, and taught me the process and taught me how to really tie a bow on something. She helped me to grow professionally. She helped to expand my network. And over the course of the past couple years, I've been able to see that she's done that for more than just me, but multiple young women who I have now connected with.
I think I'm just very grateful because, working in sports can be very demanding. And when you hear things like the kind words that Madison has shared and you realize that you've touched someone's life, you realize that's why you do it.
Wow, what an inspiring trio of women. The Athena Young Professional Award recognizes women under the age of 35 who are role models and who dedicate their time to helping women and girls succeed and grow. And those three women are certainly doing just that. After receiving this award in 2018, I know personally how life-changing this recognition is, and I cannot wait to see the great things that are in store for our 2020 recipient. On behalf of the Pittsburgh Technology Council, ATHENA International, and our generous event sponsors, I am thrilled to announce that the 2020 ATHENA Young Professional Award recipient is Sharnae Hearn Davis.
After graduating from Slippery Rock University in 2010, 6 years later, I was awarded the Young Alumni Award for my accomplishments in the city of Pittsburgh. As I began to provide my acceptance speech, I found myself nervous and stumbling over my words, charging the SRU community to have a greater focus on diversity and inclusion within the institution. After the event, I asked one of my mentors, Dr. Jessamine Montero, to provide feedback on what I just shared. Today, I share her words. When someone provides you with the platform to use your voice, always prepare to ensure that your words have the greatest impact. As decision makers and influencers in our city, nation, and abroad, I challenge you to begin the practice of critical self-reflection. I challenge us to look at how we value Black women and their worth. What my bio doesn't tell you, as of August 29th, 2020, I found myself in an unemployment line for the second time in 3 years. This week, it was determined by the state that I was worth $583 every 2 weeks, despite my education, work history, and achievements. Since being unemployed since 2027, it has been a challenge to find, obtain, and sustain rewarding work paying over $55,000 in the city of Pittsburgh. I was often told that I was overqualified or not qualified enough. These experiences take a toll on you mentally, physically, and spiritually. Today, I use my personal story to provide insight into why I started the Sisters of As We Climb Network. I now know it's not my duty to be the voice of the voiceless, but to open doors and create opportunities for women of color to amplify their voices. I stand on the shoulders of those who've gone before me, like Ms. Siobhan Cook, Gwyneth Elliott, Bernadette Turner, and Dr. Dorothy Height. Every day we're fighting a battle in hopes to win the war. As Black women, we must be expert strategists to navigate the systems that for decades and continue to try and keep us out. Our resilience allows us to continue to work in our sectors, striving to create more equitable opportunities. It is an honor and a privilege to be named the 2020 Athena Young Professional. It also comes with the greater responsibility of being called to find solutions to some of our most pressing issues. I look forward to the new relationships and opportunities that will be birthed now that you heard me speak my truth. Once again, I thank you.
While this ATHENA Awards program is one way to honor local women, there are other ways we can recognize the incredible effort of women right here in our area. One of those is through the Barbara McNeese Spirit of Athena Scholarship, which covers tuition for attendance to the Carnegie Mellon Leadership and Negotiation Academy for Women, an executive education program at Carnegie Mellon University's Tepper School of Business. This scholarship program equips mid-level leaders with the knowledge and the tools needed to help them advance into the C-suite or a more senior or executive role, and focuses on women who have committed themselves and their employment to the public, not-for-profit, entrepreneur, or small business sector.
The Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra, I think, is the crown jewel in the city of Pittsburgh. Many people don't realize that we have one of the most talented and prestigious orchestras in the entire world. People think of the New York Philharmonic, the LA Philharmonic, Chicago. Pittsburgh is right up there with them. As the controller, I'm in charge of the day-to-day accounting operations. So all our donations and ticket sales that come in, all the bills we have to pay, the guest artists, all our tax issues, all our compliance issues, our audits, helping with our endowment. It's really everything behind the scenes. So it's really interesting, while I might not have a direct impact of putting musicians on stage and, organizing concerts and, doing all the background artistic work, what I do is important and integral because, it makes sure that we can do that. We do the boring stuff well, so we can focus on the important things to the community. I had been aware of the Barbara McNeese Spirit of Athena Scholarship Award for a couple years, and I had always been interested in the scholarship, but I never really felt that I was at that level yet. And last year, I kind of just decided to go for it. I knew that I was at a point in my professional career where the Negotiation Academy would really make a huge difference for me. And I was absolutely thrilled and shocked when I received the scholarship. Having been out of college for almost 15 years, I never thought I wanted to be back in the classroom, but there was something that was really special about being in a cohort of strong professional women who all were looking for a reset button and, getting the strength and the diversity of opinion and a diversity of views. I've been able to incorporate the skills and lessons I learned from the Negotiation and Leadership Academy pretty much every facet of my life, not just professionally, but personally. I also reinforced in me the importance of reflection and, taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture in everything I do going forward. So I am forever grateful for all the skills I learned and for the great community that I've become a part of.
Since Williams was founded in 1908, so much has changed, and yet some things should remain the same, like keeping promises, exceeding safety standards, doing the right thing, and preserving the environment. Williams, we make clean energy happen.
I moved to Pittsburgh about 11 years ago to come to graduate school at Pitt, and I thought I was here on a 2-year tour of duty, as I called it then, and like so many, I became charmed with Pittsburgh, and 11 years later find myself a happy homeowner. I'm the executive director of the Posner Foundation of Pittsburgh, which is a family foundation, a philanthropic foundation, and the fun part of my job is that I get to learn from literally models all over the world, bring some of them back here to Pittsburgh, and help connect some dots that maybe wouldn't be connected otherwise. So that's a great honor. I heard about the Barbara McNeese Scholarship several years ago, and in fact, I even applied in 2017 when I was at a similar sort of change point in my career. I wasn't awarded the scholarship then, and in fact, I think it was probably for the better. I think now is a moment that I'm more prepared for the experience and that I'll be able to really get out of it what's intended to get out of it and be able to apply it almost immediately in my role. The CMU Negotiation Academy for Women is a really prestigious institution and part of the CMU Executive Education Series. And I'm excited to participate for two reasons. One, I've never done executive education, so this will be my first foray into that world. And second of all, I've long had my eye on the Negotiation Academy, and it's rightfully priced at a competitive market rate, but that market rate, frankly, is probably above what I'd be able or willing to afford for myself. So the scholarship really gives me access to an elite echelon of women leaders and of educators and of top thinkers in this space that I'm just really excited to learn from and practice with and be in a safe space with as we all sort of explore this topic. Being awarded the scholarship this year was, to be honest, a really bright spot in what was otherwise a pretty grim 2020, I think, for all of us, but especially for those working in the nonprofit and philanthropic space. It's just been really tough to watch institutions struggle and watch people and families, frankly, have to do more and more with less and less. So the scholarship is incredibly well timed for me in the sense that it's given me a jolt of energy and ambition to keep moving forward. This would be a really obvious year to not offer the scholarship, given everything that's going on, and just grateful that they chose to do so and that I'm the recipient, and I pledge to do the very best that I can and to pay it forward and carry it forward throughout my career.
Virginia Deer is a company I started to introduce a swimwear line, and our premier product is the Bikini. I really came up with the idea probably about 7 years ago. I did a lot of research, I did a lot of marketing research, a whole bunch of putting it together. We're going to launch with a crowdfunding campaign probably September, October. The critical time that I'm in my business and with the pandemic and so forth, I really just wanted to basically start moving again and get all the negativity off of me, and basically I wanted to get unstuck. I heard about the EDGE program. I probably had a few friends that attended in previous years. I know I personally couldn't afford it with things I'm doing in my business and COVID and so forth. Given a scholarship to attend, especially at this time, was just a total blessing for me. It was such a critical time in my personal life as well as my business life, just to be able to get away with like-minded women. It was just awesome. And basically what I was thinking on the last day really helped me, like, okay, we can do this, I can do this when I get home. Since we've left the retreat, the EDGE retreat, I've still been in contact with a lot of the women, which is great. As a person that always feels like I'm a solopreneur, that I'm in business by myself, and we still have those connections, which is really great. How grateful am I? Extremely grateful. I even tear up when I'm saying this because it just came out of nowhere. I think it's extremely important for women to have an opportunity to gather with like-minded women and to get away and to really dig deep into some of the things that are critical in our environments and that we don't have an opportunity to talk about. We don't have an opportunity to share. And a lot of times we don't share because of the environments that we're in. So it's an opportunity that was afforded to me, and I think it is a blessing for women to be able to get away at such a retreat as the ED retreat.
Scholarship opportunities and women's leadership programs are so important, not only right here in our region, but on a national and global scale as well. The 2019 McKinsey Women in the Workplace research study showed that while there was a 24% increase in representation by women in the C-suite over the last 5 years, there was a 5% decrease in both representation of women at the manager level and of women of color. The study also showed that women continued to feel that gender was a barrier to advancement and continued to feel microaggressions toward women. However, an increasing number of companies are seeing the value of having more women in leadership, and they're proving they can make progress on gender diversity. This is such an important step in the right direction. By continuing to lift, empower, and mentor women in general, and especially women here in Pittsburgh, we will continue to cultivate the next generation of leaders. Without a doubt, the following 2020 Athena Award nominees and finalists are doing just that.
As the 2018 Athena Award recipient, it's truly an honor to be here virtually today to not only highlight the outstanding group of 46 Athena nominees, but also to introduce the 5 2020 Athena Award Program of Greater Pittsburgh finalists. As a member of the 2020 Athena Host Committee and Selection Committee, I can wholeheartedly say that it was no simple task narrowing down our nominee list to the following 5 women.
I'm operating in this life with a purpose. We're all here for a very short period of time, and I really want to make sure that the time that I am here, I'm operating with such a purpose that it's really, really important, and that is about helping other people.
Yvonne has instilled confidence in a lot of women in a lot of ways, but she's done it so many times with so many women. She is tenacious though. She does not, when she works with you, she works with you. You can't get away from her. She is going to help you whether you want it or not.
I've been with Highmark Health for the past 17 years, and I love it. This idea of what health really is and what it looks like and how do you support it. And how do you use philanthropy? How do you use money to help solve those problems?
One of the things Yvonne had said to me was, we've all been given gifts from God, and we need to use those to the best of our ability. I really believe that Yvonne is looking for those gifts in women and having the women use those gifts.
Female confidence is at the core of everything, and that confidence comes from trial and error. There are mistakes that you make, it's okay, learn from them. All I try to do is plant seeds along the way. I try to use those seeds to inspire and encourage, but more importantly, I really am trying to use those seeds to empower and build confidence.
Yvonne has been involved in so many different organizations.
I really do believe service is really important for everyone to fulfill, and I love doing that. And I've been with the United Way, I can't tell you how many years, it's been a few decades. Also, I am one of the co-founders for the August Wilson Center. I'm extraordinarily proud of that. That was a huge undertaking. So there are a lot of things that I'm connected to and I'm very proud of.
To coin something that Yvonne said to me at the very beginning, it's time for transformation and change.
It's so important to continue to mentor and coach and help women and girls today because the disparity is still so great. I keep hearing this phrase that's being used, particularly during the pandemic, about, people want to get back to a new normal. And normal to me seems like the usual, the typical, the things that we're doing. I really don't want a new normal. I want change and I want transformation. And I hope that's something that we all want. We all should be striving toward that.
I've said that I have like a love-hate relationship with this city because it's, where I've been raised and understand the good things that can happen, the good people that exist here. But then I also know the barriers and the racist practices that actually happen. I'm committed to being at the table and ensuring that we do better.
Kathy is probably one of the more courageous and persistent people I know. She works tirelessly for what she believes in. So whether that's in the mental health space or through her leadership role at Gwen's Girls, these girls and the community at large are always on her mind.
Gwen's Girls was founded in 2002 by my mother, the late Commander Gwen Elliott. We've been doing a lot of work in the community around social justice and just uplifting the needs of women and girls, and specifically Black women and girls.
Kathy would say that she was the first Gwen's Girl.
It's really true that I was the original Gwen's Girl.
When Kathy graduated from high school, within 18 months, she already had 2 kids. She had no job, no marketable skills, but yet she persevered. I think she sees herself in these girls and they see themselves in her.
So I have continued my mother's legacy and mission at Gwen's Girls by providing quality programming, and we created the Gwendolyn J. Elliott Institute, which is our research arm.
She's also elevating the conversation within the community as it relates to the racial inequities that Black girls face. And she's formed the Black Girls Equity Alliance, which has a number of focus groups that are focused on those inequities as it relates to child welfare, education, juvenile justice, health and wellness. So she's really taking the mission and vision of Gwen's Girls to the next level. Kathy is an important voice within Pittsburgh today.
I have been a part of the Gender Equity Commission that released a report that talked about the inequities that exist here in Pittsburgh for Black women. And I must say that I definitely was not surprised. And so I look forward to continuing to, work with anybody and everybody that understands that we have to do better.
I remember when Kathy took on the role of CEO of Gwen's Girls. I think at first it was really carrying on her mom's mission. And I think the more time that passes, Kathy, this is Kathy. It could be called Kathy's Girls because she really does own it and she's taking it to the next level.
The work that I do is, all the sacrifices throughout the years that I've made in trying to learn and to do better and to be better and to help, that, to seeing that come to fruition has been motivating for me to continue to do that.
I was a first-generation college student at IUP, and whenever it came time for my first interview, the very first thing I thought was not, can I do this job? It was, oh my God, what am I going to wear? I really could have benefited from guidance of what to and not to wear and how to feel confident walking into an interview.
Tanya wakes up every morning and everything she does is designed to empower women. When she became the CEO of Dress for Success, it was suddenly, the only way I can put it is on the map.
The mission of Dress for Success Pittsburgh is to empower local women who are entering and returning to the workplace. We provide them with the clothing and connections that they need so that they can feel strong and confident as they take the next step in their career journey.
In 2019, Dress for Success served 4,000 women in this 5-county region, and that's a domino effect.
It's a pair of shoes, but it's also in some cases breaking the cycle of poverty. I was a recruiter for years. I know that there were many times that I offered a position to the person who presented themselves most confidently, as opposed to what their resume said. And I know that poverty can be very heavy, and the way that our clients carry themselves can sometimes be the difference. My goal is really just to level the playing field for our clients next to the person who ran into Macy's and picked up what she needed and didn't have to give it a second thought what it cost.
This summer, Tanya set out to hire 10 interns.
We needed to take everything that we offer and offer it in a virtual format.
When she went through the interview process, she said that there was somebody that looked really good on paper. It was potentially the worst interview she's ever had. And so they hired 10 interns, but Tanya couldn't get this person off of her mind.
It was really hard with this particular person. She had mentioned to me that she had trouble finding an internship last summer, even though she had done a bunch of interviews. And I came out of it feeling like if it wasn't us who gave her the opportunity to build them, she was going to have a lifelong struggle of trying to find employment.
So what did she do? She went back and hired the 11th intern.
She was a gift to us. She did a ton of work and really helped us to move the organization forward. So that's a decision I'm proud of.
Tanya is very strategic about using her skill set, and she has reach in the community.
I think that women are so powerful when we work together and support each other. And so any opportunity that I get to do that is critically important.
The reason that it's important for Tanya to be doing her mission is I look at it like the long-term impact. It's huge. It's just huge.
I get true personal enjoyment out of the work that we do because I know that it makes an impact in the lives of women and their families every day. My team is committed to making sure that every woman who comes to see us leaves feeling stronger and more confident than when she arrived. And if we are doing that every day, then that's for me, that's a personal success.
The greatest fulfillment and joy isn't about necessarily what we do, but it's about what the people we serve, what they see within themselves.
Angela's leadership is really phenomenal. And when we think about what characteristics and qualities make a good leader, and especially a female leader, it's someone who sincerely and deeply cares about the people that they're working with and serving in the community.
When I wake up in the morning, honestly, I wake up with a million things on my mind and thinking, what role can I have in terms of making the region better in supporting people? I was extremely fortunate to be placed in this position as the leader of YWCA. My role is one of saying, how do we make sure that we're empowering our young people so that when they get older, that they're fully realizing all of their potential, while at the same time, when we're serving adults, how do we ensure that they're able to have the best quality of life from where they are, and then think about where they're going in the future. When I think back to watching the video of George Floyd, and I'll be quite frank with you, it actually took me a while to fully watch. And you can probably hear in my voice, I'm still not okay, right? But I'm still driven because I believe that we can affect change.
Angela's leadership is really helping us come together to use our personal experiences to transform that into action.
There are also some other things that we're working on that are on the horizon. But as we go forward, again, it's looking at what are concrete, deliberate steps for systems change, and that's driving our work moving forward.
So what I've seen in Angela in leading the organization through the pandemic is a truly a phenomenal ability to adapt.
We've been extremely fortunate that throughout this, we've been able to serve about 95%, if not more, of our clients through a virtual format.
Angela is at YWCA, even though she's new this year. I believe she's here for a long time, I hope. And will, lead the organization to just have a profound effect on the entire community and the systems that we're all navigating in.
Being able to work in a place of meaning, it's just been an incredible journey, and I'm just so grateful that I have an opportunity to be here. I don't take it for granted at all, not at all.
A motto I've always lived by is raising up others. Women tend to not promote themselves, and it tends to be harder for women to promote themselves. And so I really wanted to empower women and be able to do it in a way that they feel comfortable.
Doris is someone over the last 15 years I've always looked up to. She's a perfect role model of a strong woman, leader, mentor. Doris is thought of as the go-to woman, especially when it comes to career development and, as she had said before, lifting up others.
I used to work in the provost office a couple years ago and really focused on faculty development. And one of the things I noticed in my tenure at Pitt, being a faculty person, are some of the challenges that women face. So I created the Win All program, which stands for Women in Academic Leadership.
I was a member of the first cohort of Win All, and it has been a fabulous experience for me.
We brought together 30 women. We purposely put them in groups of people who were outside of their normal areas. And we did that intentionally because we wanted to expand the network and get them thinking about where they are in academic leadership and what might be the next step for them. In my time in the provost office, I probably, aside from Win All, was most enthusiastic and most gratified by the Impact program. What we wanted to do with Impact was bring together relatively new faculty, form them into groups with the more senior faculty so that they could see and bring their challenges, issues, struggles to the group to process it together as a community. So we had a kickoff, which was amazing. Then they went away and they met each month with their more senior advisor. And then we brought them back together again as a group and had a couple of those senior advisors just kind of tell their story about how they've gotten to where they are. And hearing someone's story can be so powerful because oftentimes you can see yourself in that. And if you can see yourself in that story, then you can say, hey, maybe I could get there too.
It's hard to find good role models in academia that are women, and Doris, provides that example for all of us.
In academia, we have so few faculty of color, and if we can help them achieve success in their careers, we need programs like this now.
It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day work that sometimes you need to step back, take a little bit of time for yourself, and think about how am I going to develop myself as a person?
I think women in particular have unique challenges, and I think mentoring women to raise them up, to let them achieve their full potential should really be the work of all women.
Wow, what an incredible group of women. After being selected as the recipient of the prestigious ATHENA Award in 2018, and knowing what will follow for this year's recipient, again, I am honored and humbled to be here and to pass along this recognition to the next woman who has tirelessly been working to mentor, encourage, and support other women and girls in their leadership development, and who is undoubtedly leaving a mark on her community and on every life she touches. On behalf of the Pittsburgh Technology Council, ATHENA International, and our generous sponsors, I am so very pleased to announce the 2020 ATHENA Award recipient is Dr. Angela Reynolds.
I was totally not expecting that at all. So first of all, just want to say thank you to, I'll get myself together, give me a second. Okay, I want to say thank you to the committee. I have to just honor the wonderful and fabulous women who were nominated to the finalists, and I'll just be honest, I've admired you. Some of you I've been able to work with, I'm being very fortunate with that, but others that I've admired from afar, and you have done phenomenal things for this community. And just want to applaud you for all that you've done, because again, I am beyond shocked. One thing that has driven me is a passage of scripture that comes from Micah chapter 6, verse 8. And it talks about, what does the Lord require, but for you to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly before your God. And while I can't say that every day that I have achieved that, every morning I do wake up and I strive for that there are many people in my life who have paved the way, some that I've never met, some whose legacies I stand on. And even though I've never met them, in some way our life journeys are still connected. I'm also extremely grateful for the women that I've had an opportunity to serve, that I have been able, not only through teaching, but through my role at Fair Housing Partnership, through my role at the United Way, and now my role at YWCA, to meet some phenomenal women who have just had experiences where life has happened, and to be able to be a part of their getting back into their driver's seat of their lives and being able to sustain has been extremely powerful. There are just a few women that I want to mention, and I truly wish I had time to mention everyone that has had an impact on my life, but I don't. But I do want to mention Rhonda Hughes, who was the chair of our math department at Bryn Mawr, who, even though she didn't have to, taught the introductory calculus class so she could encourage women, particularly women of color, to major in math. Jackie Cohen, who was my dissertation advisor when I was at Hines at CMU, who she's a phenomenal, extraordinary criminologist, but yet when I decided I wanted to switch streams midway through, learned housing so that I would be able to do that, and actually gave me the space to say, I think I want to make a change, and to be able to encourage me and empower me to do that. The late Dr. Elsie Cofield, who was my pastor's wife, who actually started an AIDS outreach center in the 80s. And if you think about what that means for a church to have that, how powerful that was, because she taught me no one is untouchable. No one should be treated unfairly, that everyone is deserving of dignity and respect. And my mother, many of you have heard me speak about her, Johnny Lewis Thorpe, who was chief of staff of cardiopulmonary technology at the Hospital of St. Raphael's, and just even seeing her, how she continued to do that job, who in the midst of storms would go into work and dealt with discrimination, and grew up as a civil rights activist in Augusta, Georgia, and still raised a family and made it all happen. And now I just look back on her, and if I can only be half of who she is, that would be wonderful. And to my sister, my late sister, she passed away July 31st of last year from a heart attack, and who struggled most of her adult life. And I will say some of the programs I have designed are because of her, and seeing how she was treated and wanting to see that there would be a difference and that a change would be made. And though she is not with me anymore physically, she still continues to live in my heart and drive me forward, and actually encourage me to step out and apply for the CEO position of YWCA. To all those great women and the many others that I have not mentioned, and the fellow finalists on this panel, and to those past recipients and all of you, I am just extremely grateful. So I'm going to end where I started. And that is, when you see a wrong, whether working by yourself or with others, do what you can to right it. When you look at others who are vulnerable and oppressed, recognize that everyone is deserving of dignity and respect. You never know someone's life experience, the person that you're sitting next to at work, the person that you're sitting next to on the bus, the person who is right now on the Zoom call. You don't know what they have gone through in their lives. So always treat with respect. And then finally, to recognize we don't do this for ourselves or by ourselves, but we are part of a larger community. We are part of a larger society, that everyone's voice matters, and that we have an opportunity to truly affect change. So again, thank you.
What deserving women, and what a wonderful afternoon. I hope you're feeling just as inspired as I am right now. It has been my pleasure to be with you all day today. But before we move to this afternoon's networking opportunity, let me welcome back President and CEO of the Pittsburgh Technology Council, Audrey Russo.
So I am truly in awe of the extraordinary women we just had the pleasure of honoring. On behalf of the Pittsburgh Technology Council and ATHENA International, congratulations to all 2020 nominees and finalists, and especially to our award recipients, Dr. Angela Reynolds and Sharnae Hearn-Davis. I am so inspired by these women, and I am sure each and every one of you are as well. Now, if you're still thinking about donating to 40 by 80, which you should be, our EDGE program has a scholarship through Red Chair Pittsburgh, and that donation link is in the chat again. So thank you all for being here, for being with us this afternoon, being with us on this journey, for your support as nominator, a sponsor, a host committee member, and on and on. The ATHENA Awards program would not exist if it weren't for so many people who donate their time, energy, effort, and funding. We see you, we recognize your commitment, and we are so grateful for you. That's all for 2020 ATHENA Awards program. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we're sticking around to have some networking and interaction. If you can stay, please do. If you have to go, it's been great spending this time together, and I look forward to seeing you virtually or hopefully in person very, very soon. Take care and be safe.